What's going on, everybody? Today we are going to build a Jawbreaker themed Xbox 360. This is my test panel. I learned a lot. It still looks kind of cool, I think, but definitely rough. I obviously didn't prep the surface. I also only had 180 grit sandpaper, so there's scratches all over. But this is sort of what we're going for. This here is for a client build. We're cutting out a big window on that one. You'll see that in another video. But just wanted to compare the two. On this side, we're actually going to try to do one of these situations, which will be a huge pain, but when it comes to Jawbreaker, I think that window is going to fit way better than a standard one. So let's get this cut out. Alright, now we just got to do a tiny bit of sanding. A lot of sanding. Got as far as we could with the tool. We'll have to do the rest by hand, but we also need to sand the entire thing, as well as get the decals off and the rest of the shell. We're going all white everything, hard drive, vents, everything. Before we do that, let's see here. This one is March 10th, 2006. Very early, which explains why it's so yellowed. I guess without it next to another one, it's hard to tell, but let's get this stuff prepped for paint. Now you can tell pretty clearly. Had to soak that sticker quite a bit. It's being stubborn. We got all of our parts that we need to paint white first. We're not going to paint the side panels or faceplate because they're already white and ready to go. Got our just some semi-gloss white, and there's two sets of these because I need some for another build that need to be white as well. And this is the same white we're going to put over everything once we add some color. To make things easier, we're going to split these up. We're going to do this panel, top and bottom, and then we'll do the other side with the faceplate and eject and bezel and all that. Okay, you can kind of see what we're after here. So just random colors. But compared to the faceplate I wanted to do much bigger sections. And then obviously we want this to have some time to dry, and then we'll go over it again, but differently with the same colors, and we'll do that like 3 or 4 times, and then white over everything. We'll probably have to get more of it because you'll really got to cover everything in white, which is tough with all these different colors. But once you do that, then you can go back and sand different sections, and you should get random colors as you sand it down. Got quite a random, ridiculous looking paint job here. I kind of started similar to what you see here with bigger sections of colors, and then did another layer of much smaller sections, a lot more random, making sure not to put the same color over itself, and then finished it off by doing the same thing and doing the bigger sections of colors, a little more random on the smaller parts, of course. There's just not enough room, especially these things. They've just kind of got painted several times with different colors, but the point is to at least have different colors, like when you're doing the edges, as you're sanding down, to hit all kinds of random colors in different spots. The next thing we need to do is paint everything white, probably 2 or 3, 4, maybe 5 times. Now that gloss, or semi-gloss white that I used, seems to really take a long time to cure, and it still seems like it's going to be kind of a pain to try and sand. So I'm going to go ahead and get some matte white. We're going to do that over everything. It should be a lot easier to sand it, and we're still going to use that high gloss clear coat over everything when we're all done. Just one coat on there so far. You can definitely see color coming through. And my camera freezing up. Now I have about 3 coats and everything. It looks fully covered. We're going to make sure it fully cures before sanding it. And I accidentally used the semi-gloss on these 2 pieces here, but that shouldn't really be a problem. Alright, my hands are cramping up from all the painting and sanding. This is sort of what we got going on. I wanted it to be mostly still white on the outside and tried to go a little heavier on the inside parts. I think I still will do a little bit more on those. The DVD drive will go down to metal pretty easily, so I don't want to go too crazy on that one. See all of our little components there. Anywhere that there was like wording and stuff, I made sure to go over that. So, yeah, it's pretty much where we're at. Once those other parts are dry from wet sanding, they're ready for some clear coat. I was hoping to get these ready for clear coat as well for the Galaxy build. but I was really hoping to get, don't mind what my cat threw to my hand, that color shift flake that we use on like the Tony Hawk build and several other builds, just to put a little bit over all of this stuff before clear coating it, but none of the places in town have it in stock, of course. While we're waiting, we're going to go ahead and take this one back apart. I was hoping from now on to have pretty much one video per build. Obviously there'd still be some like this one where we're sort of doing two at the same time. A lot of the builds obviously need stuff cut out and painted before other things happen to them. So instead of just making 10 different parts of me saying I'm waiting on parts, I'm hoping to probably do less uploads, at least once per weekend, if things work out. But that's my goal. And basically, instead of doing several different parts, try to have it all in one for each build. Now, this will be the one build video for the Jawbreaker build. We'll finish up what we do here, and then the final video will be the sale listing video. Both of these builds will have working boards in them and come with controllers. But for now, this Red Ring of Death board that's in here does already have the LEDs on it, so I want to take this shell off, put our Jawbreaker build on there, and see what that looks like with the RGB lights before we move on. Almost back together. Just wanted to show this piece here. Just the way it sanded and came out, that looks so cool. Alright, let's plug it in. Okay, obviously the Red Ring of Death Falcon board, but what do we think? RGB, or should this one just have all white lights? I am kind of leaning towards all white. A lot of the colors in the RGB kind of cancel out some of the colors you see on the inside, but I don't know. What do we think? Now, I think I'm going to throw a chrome button here, and I may also throw the chrome power button on there, and that would be the only chrome. Or should we leave white on the faceplate there? I would have to find a better condition power button. That one isn't quite yellow, but it is a little bit darkened, and you can tell the difference there between that one and the white paint. Last thing would be the window. I had sort of planned on putting acrylic on the outside. I've got this one here. I unfortunately, of course, don't have my test panels. It had like 10 or more colors, so I was going to be able to try all those out. Now, there's obviously paper on here. I don't know if I could peel it off by hand, but this is just like a smoke clear acrylic. I wouldn't use that on this one. I actually bought this. They come in 2 packs for this client build that we'll get to eventually. But yeah, should we get regular clear on the outside, maybe like a tinted, kind of like a gray, something like that, or should we have the window on the inside, which would mean kind of having to trim some more stuff, because I didn't exactly cut all the braces off on the back so that some plexiglass can sit nice and smooth on there. And then probably the same deal with the hard drive. We'll just throw, I don't know, white LEDs in there or something like that. So this one is actually going to get the board that was in the Eyeball water-cooled 360. That is a build I am getting in a trade deal back, and that's the board we're going to put in here. Great working Jasper with a good disk drive, and like I said, we'll get a controller to match, which I did not think about painting a faceplate to match, but I think I want to do just all white with all different color buttons or something like that. And yeah, this will be tier 1 build up for sale. And then our Galaxy build, we just painted the white top and bottom pieces. I think that's going to accent that really nicely. I still really want to get that multicolor flake deal to go over those white pieces to tie everything together really nicely. And then I'm actually going to use the chrome top piece from our all chrome XCM hard drive shell for the very top of the shell. And that's going to tie in with some of the chrome we've got here on the faceplate, and we're using the chrome bezels on there as well. This one is going to get a board that I also do not have yet, but it was listed as a Zephyr, a working Zephyr, and I look at the photo and I see a light-on daughter board. I'm like, huh, that's strange. Don't normally see that. And then I looked closer, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's got these capacitors, all these short blue ones, all the way around the CPU. I'm like, I've never seen a Zephyr with that. And then I saw another photo and zoomed in on the power plug, and it is definitely a Jasper. So I went ahead and bought that one for $19, and hopefully it's what was in the photos. Unlike what we got here, the package is going in this build here, 420, alongside Grand Theft Auto 5 build. We actually bought the hydro-dipped Weed Xbox on Etsy, and we're going to be using that shell on our extra Xenon board that we need to replace the caps on, but works. And I'm still waiting on those caps. And the board that is in that Weed one is actually going in our Grand Theft Auto 5 build. So this one's actually going to get moved up from a Tier 1 to a 2. It will have a JTAG Xenon. And I went ahead and got this controller here. Well, that's not what I got, but I ordered a rare Weed faceplate 360 controller that had clear buttons on it and stuff, and that was going to go with the hydro dip shell. But what this person decided to send me instead, I assume they never even had that controller, was this one here. And yes, it has some clear stuff on it, but keep in mind I paid like $75 or more or something for that other controller. And if we look at this closely, it is hydro dipped terribly, bubbling up like crazy. And then this is the closest thing to what I was supposed to get, but it has the cheetah print on there, and buttons are all worn off, these chrome buttons, all the stuff's coming off there, and it is a clear back like the one that was in the listing. But yeah, this is not at all what I ordered. Definitely not paying that much for these. They're just not worth that much to me unless somebody wants one of these. Yeah, I told them I'd need a pretty substantial refund to keep these, otherwise I'm definitely doing a return. I can get myself a full clear shell for like 12 bucks, so it's just not worth it. Assuming that one is actually a Jasper and not a Zephyr, just like the photos, that one is going to go into here, and I need to grab one of my Light-On DVD drives to put the daughter board into. And like I said, this one, we plan to have this controller here. It may not have the silver front, it'll probably be white, but it's going to have kind of the bluish purple buttons and shell pieces going on there to, of course, match what we have going on here. And, of course, our awesome faceplate. The next time you see this one will probably be the sale listing video. Same thing with this one, but let me know what you guys think. Should we sand it a little bit more in some areas? Does it look good the way it is? Should we do something different on the inside, sand it a little bit more, go to white LEDs instead of kind of the RGB? Let me know what you guys think. I do kind of want to just get an all-white Ring of Light as well, which I should have on the way. And the Ring of Light board that is in the Eyeball 360 that should be on the way, which is purple and blue, will be going on the Milky Way 360. Assuming I figure something else out with the controller for the 420 360, we should have 3 Tier 1 builds coming up here very soon, and then obviously a Tier 2 build here, which will actually be modded, and we do plan on keeping no hard drive on the top and actually using small flash drives that will fit inside here so the door can still close, and it will still have about 500 gigabytes. On top of that, we of course have Kenobi, which one is not necessarily the front runner in this 360 build-a-thon going on here. We want to take our time with that one. Those two are basically going to be kind of the best ones, with one exception. And then here we're going to have Barricade and Bumblebee. I still don't have the faceplate. I should actually have it today or tomorrow. But we do have the Bumblebee one. And this one, both of these will have obviously custom shells, fully painted, LED stuff, cool little decals, things like that. The board for Barricade, which we do not have yet, will be a Zero Fuse Jasper. And Bumblebee, which we actually do have the board here, this is a 1.2 Falcon, so Barricade gonna be a little bit higher tier than Bumblebee, but still both cool builds. And we actually, this one came with all the stuff on a flash drive, but this one will have a hard drive. As I mentioned over here, client build coming from Hawaii, and they actually also sent a Wii as well. So we've got Anime 360 and Wii builds. As soon as those come in, those will be more priority, of course, client builds. I want to get those done in a timely manner. And finally, the liquid metal shell, which I had planned on using on the barricade build, but I really want this one, once we're done with Vader and Kenobi, to be fully internal water cooled and just be super worth that shell. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please do not like, comment, or subscribe to my channel, and we will see you in the next video.